Live from Las Vegas on Friday, May 1, it's the premiere edition of the new boxing series on True TV. Headlining the telecast are Takehiro Ao and Raymond Beltran, who will showdown for a lightweight world title belt. On Tuesday, May 5, Cinco de Mayo, it's the premiere of 24/7 Canelo Kirkland. We step into the training camp of Mexican superstar Canelo Alvarez as he prepares for a tough test against knockout artist James Kirkland. Immediately following 24/7, it's my show, The Fight Game. Join me along with Max Kellerman and Michelle Beadle as we discuss the storylines and news leading up to the Canelo Alvarez fight, as well as break down the results and aftermath of the May 2 pay-per-view from Las Vegas. Then on May 9, it's the live fight from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Canelo versus Kirkland. Two dangerous offensive fighters square off in a bout that is bound to produce fireworks. Down goes Belvedere on a rocket left hook.
Kirkland is in the zone right now. He can smell blood.
He's giving Tapia a frightful beating.
1 week later, on Saturday, May 16, it's the return of Triple G.
Hard uppercut by Golovkin. Predator at work. Down goes Rubio.
Live from the LA Forum, Gennady Golovkin looks to continue clearing out the middleweight division as he takes on Willie Monroe. Also that night, the Nicaraguan climbing the pound-for-pound list, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez faces off against Mexican veteran Edgar Sosa for a flyweight title. Then on June 6th, it's the return of Miguel Cotto to World Championship Boxing.
Martinez badly hurt with a left hook.
Cotto's off to a blazing start.
Fighting for the first time at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, Cotto puts his middleweight title on the line against the tough Australian Daniel Geale. Don't miss a moment of the action. For more information on the schedule and the fighters, go to HBO.com and InsideHBOBoxing.com. And with Mayweather-Pacquiao only a week away, we have more programs to whet your appetite. Tonight after boxing, it's the premiere of The Legend Speak, a unique look at the fight through the eyes of boxing greats, and also all 5 men who fought both Mayweather and Pacquiao. May 1, we'll bring you the weigh-in live right here on HBO, and the next night, an hour before the pay-per-view begins, we'll have Countdown Live with features and interviews. Then it's the live fight, Floyd Mayweather against Manny Pacquiao. All week, we're asking for your prediction. Join the hashtag battle by posting May wins or Pac wins to Twitter or Facebook with results on our live weigh-in show, May 1. And now to the main event, as Vladimir Klitschko returns to Madison Square Garden for the first time in 7 years to defend the heavyweight championship of the world. Earlier this week, I sat down with Vladimir to talk to him about his return to America. Vladimir, I should start by saying welcome back. First time that you have been here in the United States to defend your championship since 2008. What brought you back?
I had great times in the past 7 years in Europe. I fought in the biggest arenas, audience over 60,000 people. But you know what? After a long break, 7 years, to come back at the Garden and fight here, it's something that I was looking forward to. I think it's the right place, right time, and of course, right opponent.
Life after Emmanuel, how has that been different? And is he still alive in your training and in your life?
Physically, he's gone, and we know about it. Spiritually, he's under us and among us. And I hear his voice in my ear. When I train, when I fight, what I am doing right now and representing Emmanuel Stewart. He put the foundation, and Jonathan Banks, he's continuing what Emmanuel taught him, taught me, taught us. Maybe Emmanuel lives in him in a certain way, or he thinks about Emmanuel and kind of helps him, but it works perfectly.
You waited till full maturity to become a father. Does it make you miss your father even more?
In this case, as Emmanuel and as my father, the ones that I loved so much. And I remember I had this line, I was very sad, and then I said, but one day we're gonna meet each other. Hold on a second. One day we're gonna meet each other, so it's all temporary, so why should I be upset? So you live with me in my heart, in my mind, and one day we're gonna meet each other. So I'm enjoying my time here. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for all the wisdom of life, and I'm gonna do the best out of it because I'm gonna carry over the legacy that you give to me as my father or as my coach.
Since your father passed away,
The situation in Ukraine has gotten worse and worse. Do your thoughts go to what's happening there on a daily basis?
Every Ukrainian inside of the country or outside of the country worried about their families, their country, about the war. I hope that this conflict is going to be solved sooner than later, because there's only one price that's most valuable. This is the price of human lives.
I know you've always admired your older brother's courage and toughness. Do you admire it even more now?
My brother was always a great example for me, in the ring and outside of the ring. I'm proud of my brother. It's one of the toughest jobs right now as a mayor of the city of Kyiv with responsibility of 4 million people. I think he has been challenged more than ever he was challenged in the ring at any fights. He's taking this challenge. He's doing his job great.
And just moments ago, in the Klitschko dressing room, a warm-up with older brother and former heavyweight champion Vitaly Klitschko. Nice to see that commercial airplane flights are still flying between Kiev and the United States despite the troubles in Ukraine. There are a lot of Ukrainian flags in Madison Square Garden here tonight. Max Kellerman, what does it mean to Vladimir and to the heavyweight division that he has returned to the United States?
And to boxing. I mean, the big fight is next week, right? This is the appetizer. Well, once upon a time, when the heavyweight champion of the world defended his title at Madison Square Garden against an undefeated contender out of Philadelphia, that was the big fight. Vladimir Klitschko coming off a spectacular knockout in his last title defense here on American television. It was here on HBO. Maybe making some progress towards making it a big deal again. Judging by the crowd here tonight, a near sold-out Madison Square Garden, he seems to be making progress.
Indeed, and of course, a part of the reason for the sold-out crowd is that the hunger for an American heavyweight champion is still alive and runs deep. So Roy Jones, here comes unbeaten Bryant Jennings from Philadelphia. But given the vast gap in experience between Jennings and Klitschko, what can he do, what should he do to try to score the upset?
Well, the only thing he can do is try to continue surprising people like he's done in that small 6-year period. He turned pro or started boxing at 24. He's now 30. He's only got 6 years of experience. With that being said, there's no way he should be able to come out here and outbox or out-finesse a Vitaly Klitschko. However, he has punching power, and he's been knocking some guys out. So that's the only way Klitschko has ever lost. With that being said, his only chance is to try to come out here, continue surprising people like he's been doing in that 6-year professional career, and try to get Klitschko out of there.
Whether it's Vitaly or Vladimir, it's difficult either way, right?
Exactly. I saw both of them punching.
Let's talk about the tail of the tape as we get ready for this heavyweight bout. Klitschko is 39 years old, but he hasn't really had a difficult fight in the last 11 years, so you would have to call him a relatively young 39 at this point. Jennings is 30, took up boxing at age 24. A 6'6" Klitschko has a 3-inch height advantage over Jennings, but arm length measured from the armpit to the end of the fist, Jennings' arm is actually a ½ inch longer, and if you use the traditional reach measurement all the way across the wingspan, Jennings measures longer than Klitschko. But Klitschko with a 15-pound weight advantage at 241.5, making a 14¾ weight advantage over Jennings, 226¾ Now let's take a look at the statistical measures of Vladimir Klitschko's dominance of the heavyweight division. 17 consecutive successful title defenses. You see the only 2 names above him there, Larry Holmes with 20, Joe Louis with 25, which is the record for all divisions. Klitschko also had 5 heavyweight title defenses of a minor title prior to taking on the unified heavyweight championship and getting this streak going. All in all, this tonight is his 27th appearance in a heavyweight title fight. Joe Louis also had 27, so if Vladimir can win tonight and then defend the title again, he'll have more heavyweight title defenses in his career than any man ever in boxing.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Madison Square Garden, New York City, let's get this party started! Now, coming to the ring, the challenger for the main event, Bryan. Bye-bye!
Max Kellerman, Bryant Jennings is at great pains to say, don't call me a former high school football player. I'm much more than that. I've done a lot of different things. That's not who I am. However, he is a former high school football player, among all the other things he's done. And that's really the paradigm for what an American heavyweight star is in this day and age.
Exactly right. He fits the model in the sense that American heavyweights nowadays tend to be athletes from other sports who hit a certain level, for whatever reason couldn't go any farther, injury, or they just couldn't make it in that sport. They fall down to boxing, and if they're talented enough, as Jennings obviously is, they can sometimes miraculously, and this is nothing short of a miracle, in 6 years, you go from picking up the sport to fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world. Obviously a talented guy.
Roy Jones, some people think he has taken this too soon, too quickly in his career, but of course, you got to take it when you get it, right?
Exactly. This is the only time for him. This is the time that he will get the opportunity. He may never get it again. A lot of guys strive to get that one shot. This is his one shot, and you can't always take it when you want it. You have to take it when it comes.
And now, making his entrance to the ring, the reigning and defending heavyweight champion of the world, Dr. Steel Hammer, Volodymyr Klitschko.
Max Kellerman, we showed all those numbers. The long streak of title defenses. The largest number of heavyweight title appearances of anyone in history if he gets past tonight. A lot of Americans just dismiss all that and say, well, he's not really any good. He's been fighting European challengers we haven't heard of. Who's right?
Well, all you can do is beat the guys who are around when you're champ. And he suffers a little bit from Larry Holmes syndrome, who was a similarly dominant heavyweight champion who didn't have a lot of great name opponents around in his era. It was his tough luck. All you can do is beat the guys in front of you, and he's beaten them thoroughly for a long, long time now, and has distinguished himself even among heavyweight champions.
Early in his career, Roy Jones, he was regarded as a guy with a weak chin who could be intimidated by big punches. Do you think he's gotten past that, or is the weak chin still there?
Well, the chin definitely hasn't gone anywhere, but the inside, the heart, the mindset, the belief in the chin has progressively gotten better over the years.
Hayden Panettiere, wife of Vladimir Klitschko, mother of his infant daughter, born less than a year ago. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Madison Square Garden, New York City, New York, USA, welcome to the Heavyweight Championship of the World. And it's all brought to you by K2 Promotions with KMG in association with Gary Shaw Productions, sponsored by S. Oliver High Five and Hortitza Vodka. Sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, Chairwoman Melvina Lathan, Executive Director David Berlin. Also sanctioned by the International Boxing Organization, President Ed Levine, the World Boxing Organization President Francisco Paco Barcarcel, the International Boxing Federation President Darryl Peoples, and the World Boxing Association President Gilberto Mendoza. The three judges scoring this bout at ringside, all from the United States, from California, Max DeLuca, from New York, Robin Taylor, and from New Jersey, Steve Weisfeld, and the man in charge of the action in the ring at the bell, your referee from Canada, Michael Griffin. And now, the officials are ready. The fighters are in the ring, and they are ready. So for the thousands in attendance here at the Mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden, and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, with his head trainer Fred Jenkins wearing black with purple. Official weight, 226 3/4 pounds. His professional record is a perfect one, consisting of 19 fights, 19 victories, including 10 big wins by knockout. He's the challenger from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA, the undefeated Braiant. Bye-bye, Jennings! And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, with his head trainer Jonathan Banks officially weighing in at 241 1/2 pounds. His professional record, 63 victories with 53 knockouts, only 3 defeats. Undefeated for 11 years, 9 years as the reigning heavyweight champion. From Kiev, Ukraine, and Hamburg, Germany, the reigning, defending, universally recognized, true, 3-time heavyweight champion of the world, Dr. Steel Hammer, Vladimir Klitschko.
Oh, clear the ring, guys. Gentlemen, you men both received my instructions. Obey my commands and protect yourselves at all times. I want you to touch gloves now. You're boxing at the bell. God bless you both. Touch gloves.
Good luck. Couple of big men, big crowd. They're both going to try and make something big happen.
Jennings smiling in the corner and looking relaxed as he touched his glove to the hand of his trainer, Fred Jenkins. Fred Jenkins quite outspoken in this week prior to the fight, saying Klitschko is tremendously overrated. Most of what he does is foul and wrestle. A lot of what he does in the ring is illegal, and if it were properly refereed, he wouldn't beat anybody.
Jennings comes out using that long jab.
Most opponents tend to focus, Roy Jones, on Klitschko's great jab and hard, straight right hand. In recent fights, the left hook has become a big weapon for him.
Yeah, it has, Jim. He's progressively gotten better over the years. Start using more of his toolbox. He uses what's necessary to win fights. And that's what you want to see in a good champion.
And as round one begins, Jennings is moving on his feet, trying to be elusive. Vladimir simply planting his feet and looking for the chance to land the jab.
Yeah, bad thing for Jennings already, though, Jim, is that he's gotten close enough to Klitschko, but he didn't hit him with a popping shot to make Klitschko respect him right away.
Klitschko's got to be an extra terrifying proposition now. As you mentioned, Jim, really using that left hook in his last fight. He has a blinding jab, a devastating right hand, and that left hook may be his best knockout weapon at the moment.
Klitschko brings the right hand over the top. First power punch he's thrown. Walks Jennings across the ring.
Jennings doing a good job of moving his head, though, Jim. He hasn't gotten caught with that jab yet, which is surprisingly. He's landed his own jab, so we'll see how long this lasts.
And moving his feet and trying to disturb Klitschko's rhythm.
But see, the big problem is right there when you're that close to Klitschko, you have to hit him with something big to make him respect you early.
And while Jennings has a serious experience deficit here, he may well be the best athlete with whom Vladimir has been in the ring in years. And if that alone may be enough to give Vladimir something to think about. Jennings has much greater capacity for footwork than the kinds of guys Klitschko has been fighting in Europe. Kubrat Pulev of Bulgaria simply stood right in front of him and seemed to wait to be knocked out, and Klitschko obliged him.
Yeah, and Jennings just landed a pretty good overhand right, Jim.
in a round where not much has happened, a couple of punches like that can carry the round.
Certainly Vladimir hasn't landed anything of major consequence here in round one. He spent most of the time looking at Jennings, throwing only 18 punches so far in the round, as the CompuBox graphic shows you. Klitschko pawing and tapping with the jab. That's not the popping jab. Now a quick little left hook for Klitschko. Right hand across the top.
Jennings felt that right hand, I
Yes,
think.
he did. Yes, he did. And that's why he can't stay out there at that range and fight Klitschko.
So the right hand toward the end of the round might have been enough to win it for Vladimir. But it was an interesting tactical round as Jennings showed the movement and athletic quality, which he hopes will cause Vladimir problems.
Take a deep breath, relax. Calm down, nice and relax. Now you gotta remember, you gotta get up in him. You know what I mean? Them hands tight. Get to your right and get up inside of him. You understand? You gotta get up inside him. You gotta punch him when he's trying to hit you. He's open. He's open. No ice yet. You gotta warm up. Let's warm up first. Deep breath.
He see Klitschko sneak this right hand right down the side of Jennings' gloves. It was high on the head. Didn't really hurt him bad, but it was the biggest punch that Klitschko landed in that round.
When you just keep your jabs going when you're looking for something.
CompuBox numbers in round one. Klitschko was 8 out of 31. Jennings 4 out of 22. Fred Jenkins told Bryant Jennings in the corner between rounds he needs him to be more active. When you get up close to Klitschko, hit him with something.
Klitschko not like a wide body or a guy with enormous legs, and it's not often you see this, but he seems to generate a lot of power, Roy, with those big muscular, vascular arms.
He does, Max. That's one of the biggest things about him is his massive arms and his shoulders. He and his brother both have very big arms and very big shoulders. That's why they're better at long-distance punches, like the straight right lead and the jab.
No pushing, no pushing.
But what Jennings has to do is interject a left hook in his attack, because he's throwing the right, but he's never making Klitschko weary of the left hook, which will allow Klitschko not to use the right hand for defense, and he can throw with the straight right hand.
So throw the left hook to try to make Klitschko keep his right hand at home.
You got to, because you don't want him to start unloading that right hand. That's what we saw at the end of the first round when he landed that good right hand. Like that right there.
Right. Off his back, get off his back.
If he can throw that at will, it becomes a big problem for the opposition.
Klitschko working the jab now a little bit more aggressively than in round one. Jennings tries to get the left hand onto him. Klitschko moving away. Moves pretty well on his feet for a man who is so big. And we talked about the athletic quality of Bryant Jennings. Klitschko is not just a big lumbering heavyweight slugger. He's an athlete as well. And a 365-day-a-year athlete who has maintained magnificent conditioning throughout his career.
Not a graceful mover, but he gets the job done when he needs to with his legs.
Don't push up, hold. Break, break. Stop. You can't hold him with that hand. You listen to this? Can't hold him. Box. That's it.
The way Klitschko moves reminds me of a quarterback who doesn't maybe get out of the pocket, but moves just well enough in the pocket to avoid the pressure.
There goes that left hook we want to see. If he throws that punch, he can make it a very interesting night. He didn't land it, but it makes Klitschko have to deal with it.
Klitschko's current trainer, Jonathan Banks, was likewise a pupil of Emmanuel Stewart's, heavyweight fighter himself with a record of 29-3-1. One thing he's doing differently than Emmanuel, warming Vladimir up earlier and much more liberally in the dressing room before the fight. He says he thinks that Vladimir can start faster than has been the case through much of his career. Hasn't been a particularly fast start here, but he lands another right hand there. Bryant Jennings has only been boxing for 6 years. Unlike Deontay Wilder, who's seated at ringside tonight, he declined to go to Europe and spar with Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah, I was asked to be Klitschko's sparring partner maybe about 4 or 5 times. I think that's the way that, you know, he gets a feel on his fighters, you know, because I think just about every one of his opponents, you know, he had sparred with. So, you know, I chose not to because I had the urge so much to actually fight him. And I wanted to fight him and not spar him. And I seen the dominance in, you know, in the sport with him. And, you know, I felt as though that he would still be there, you know, when I get there.
No chance Tony Thompson will get up from this.
And, hey, I was right. He's still there. He still plans to be there. But come April 25th, we putting that to a stop.
Now round 3 begins in Madison Square Garden. Vladimir Klitschko against Bryant Jennings. You can see that Harold Letterman has scored the first 2 rounds for Klitschko. Almost no one expects the fight to go the full 12 rounds.
Go his head. Break. Paul, where you want us to stop? Come on, let's go.
Roy Jones Deontay Wilder did choose to go to Germany and spar with Vladimir Klitschko and train with him, as did British heavyweight star, Olympic gold medalist in London in 2012, Anthony Joshua, and some other young heavyweights. What do you think is gained and what is lost when a young prospect goes to the camp of a heavyweight champion and spars with him?
Well, you gain experience for sure. That's one thing that you can't get away from. They definitely gain the experience, but what's lost is the element of surprise. Like he said, if you have a big punch, and Klitschko is a guy who has been knocked out 3 times but never has really lost a professional decision, you don't want to go teach him or make him aware of that big punch that you possess. You want to take that as a surprise so that when you do fight him, he walks right into that big punch and maybe you can knock him out.
So if you were running Wilder's career, if you were his manager, you would have told him not to do that.
No way in the hello would I have sent him over there to spar with Klitschko.
Earlier in the round, Jennings said something to the ref, and his trainer has been complaining about Klitschko's holding. And I think it had something to do with Klitschko's holding. Jennings was almost giving instructions to the ref, and then right afterwards, he rushes Klitschko, and Klitschko holds him. And he tried to punch out of it.
Yeah, Klitschko just landed that good straight right hand over the top of Jennings' jab.
Jennings has felt Klitschko's power, and it hasn't even been the full brunt of the power.
Yeah, but it really hasn't shown a bad effect on Jennings yet either. And what Jennings needs to do here is he needs to land a big shot like that, or an overhand right.
Jennings with a good solid right hand and left hook to the body.
He has to land something big to gain some respect. You can't let Klitschko, Vladimir stalk you all night long. He's too tall for that.
And Jennings is trying things. He's trying to rush him. He's trying to throw his rhythm off, go outside, get inside.
One perceived deficiency in Vladimir's game, he doesn't throw many body punches, if any at all. Is that because he's worried about being countered?
No, I don't think he's worried about being countered. I think he knows that he's so powerful up top that he just waits you out until you get tired, then he tries to take you out with a headshot. Bad habit, but I think that's what he does.
Just missed with a left hook there, which would have landed with power if he had got Jennings on the chin. Lots of Mayweather-Pacquiao programming coming your way. After boxing tonight, it's the premiere of The Legends Speak, a unique look at the fight as seen by boxing greats and also the 5 men who fought both Mayweather and Pacquiao. May 1, we'll bring you weigh-in live right here on HBO. The next night, an hour before the pay-per-view begins, we'll have a countdown live with features and interviews. Then it's the live fight, Floyd Mayweather against Manny Pacquiao. The world will be watching on pay-per-view May 2.
That's why you must come to him close, keep the distance, get right back out. You're doing good. Just keep boxing. Basic boxing. Keep boxing. Get each round. Keep boxing.
Total punches in round 3. Vladimir Klitschko was 8 out of 35. Bryant Jennings was 8 out of 28. So Jennings landed at a higher percentage in that round. Neither man has been tremendously active. They're both wary of each other's power. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
I got it 3-0, 30-27. Vladimir Klitschko. You know, Jim, I think that he's getting in that lift, Jim. You know, he fights tall.
The guy that fights tall has a hard time going to the body. He'd have to lean in to go to the body. But he doubles and triples that left jab. I think he's controlling the fight with the left jab. I got it 3-0, Vladimir Klitschko. I'm just waiting for that big right-hand bomb to land on Jennings' jaw to see what happens. 3-0, Klitschko.
There are a large number of Ukrainian fans in the upper deck of Madison Square Garden. We know that because of the preponderance of blue and yellow Ukrainian flags up there. And they came to life when Klitschko landed that series of 5 or 6 jabs in a row here earlier in the round. Jennings came back with a fusillade of body punches to the left side of Klitschko's body with his right hand, trying to take some of the starch out of the big man's game.
Well, Jim, he's sticking to his game plan. He's trying to wear Klitschko's body down because he realizes that it's very difficult for Klitschko to breathe late in fights. If he can continue to land those body shots and just survive that right hand, he is going to have himself into a good chance to win the fight here within the next couple of rounds. He just has to not get caught.
Break!
In the heavyweight division especially, you get hit on the button, you're going to go. But so far, Jennings has taken Klitschko's right hand pretty well, and he's at least active to the body when there's nothing else for him. Jennings, like right there, will at least touch Klitschko's body, keep his hands moving on the inside.
And
go ahead.
That's what other guys tend to not do. They don't work his body like they should when they know that he has shown in the past a very difficult time breathing late in a fight.
Lurking in the woodwork, as Jennings does a pretty good job of dealing so far with Klitschko's right hand, is the left hook. Vladimir has thrown it a few times, got close with it once in an early round. It's been a devastating force for him in recent fights. 3 of his 4 knockdowns of Kubrat Pulev were with the left hook.
He's not really throwing it much tonight, though, Jim.
Fighting to let his hands go with the right hand for sure.
It really is amazing that Jennings can fight this well against this dominant heavyweight champion 6 years in the game.
You know who Jennings reminds me of a little bit? He sort of reminds me of a Leon Spinks type guy. A guy that just goes in there and lets it all hang out.
And hands high, and he kind of moves side to side a little bit like Leon when he's being aggressive, a little bit.
And he just hit Klitschko, and I think he may have hurt Klitschko with that left hook if it landed.
The way he twists his whole body to avoid punches.
Yes, good body shot by Jennings.
Well, another thing I think Jennings is showing us early on here, got a pretty doggone good chin.
A wonderful beard.
He has taken Klitschko's shots. I don't think Vladimir has landed an A+ yet, but he's landed a couple of B+. And there is Hayden Panettiere ringside, smiling at the camera as she knows how to do.
All he's trying to do is get underneath you. That's all he's trying to break your rhythm and get underneath you. That's all he's trying to do. That's why it's so important for you to start pumping that left hand. Keep it pumping, going backwards and start angle. Remember, all in camp, we circle them around, just boxing. You don't got to move around, just step around, keep boxing, give him angles, make him open up. That's when your shots go in.
You got to let the hands go, man. You got to get closer and let them go. As soon as he grabs me.
We see Klitschko start that round out with like 3 or 4 jabs right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3.5. Then he holds. No big right hand, no left hook, Jim, which is what you want to see him throw more of.
CompuBox numbers in round 4, Klitschko 22 out of 63. The 63 punches that Klitschko threw in the round, by far his high in the fight. Most of them were jabs. Jennings 8 out of 40. And you saw a graphic earlier that showed you that Klitschko is landing punches upstairs to the head, almost none to the body. Jennings has landed 22 body shots, almost nothing to the head.
And in the corner, it sounds like Jonathan Banks feels that Klitschko may be looking for one big shot because he keeps telling him basic boxing and the opportunities will present themselves as the fight wears on. Sometimes a fighter looking for the big shot never pulls the trigger because the opening's not there because he doesn't do the things to create the opening.
Moments ago, Jennings landed a good hard left hand right on Klitschko's heart, and that is sometimes a punch that bothers a fighter, Roy.
Yes, it is, because it catches him at an unoperative time, and he's not expecting the punch to come.
Referee is Michael Griffin out of Canada. He's an excellent referee.
Let's go.
And you saw him talking to Vladimir there.
He said you can't hold him no more, meaning the rest of this fight he doesn't want to see clinches.
Right, you get his arm off the back. Box.
that's something tactically that the Jennings camp feels if they take away from Klitschko really improves Jennings' chances.
Well, and Klitschko detractors like Fred Jenkins, Jennings' trainer, would say if you take away the holding, you take away his whole game.
Well, you also encourage him to throw more punches like this, and that may not be good for you.
Well, it's not good for you, but it is good for you because if he doesn't land anything, it makes him tired. And we all know that the Giant does tire badly. Don't hold him.
Against Lehman Brewster, April 10, 2004, he basically collapsed from exhaustion. But that was after throwing upward of 90 punches per round in the early going. Now, he hasn't made that mistake since.
Jennings is trying to get in Klitschko's head, showing him the punches don't have an effect.
Like that. Those are the type of punches that he has to put on Klitschko.
Let's go.
Oh, good uppercut by Klitschko.
If he ever really mastered that punch, the danger of that would be enormous. He doesn't throw it very often. He landed it there, the right uppercut.
Mainly because he throws it from a straight-up position, Jim. He doesn't lean left or right hardly, so he doesn't see many opportunities to throw it.
Straight right hand by Klitschko. Jennings drops his hands to say, oh, you can't hurt me. And comes back ripping to Klitschko's body.
Tough guy, Jennings, because he took that tough shot and came right back.
And now Vladimir threw a body shot. You don't see that very often.
That tells you that the body shot that Jennings hit him with must have hurt because it reminded him to throw a body shot.
He retaliated.
Yes, he did. And I'm telling you, Jennings is looking really good right here because Vladimir Klitschko does not like to be uncomfortable or feel like he's threatened in the ring.
He's losing the rounds, but I agree, Roy, he's doing something here to Klitschko.
Annette Jennings, grandmother of Bryant Jennings, seated at ringside, smiling as she sees herself on camera. He had a job at the Federal Reserve Bank in Philadelphia. He gave it up last year to become a full-time boxer. He's been training down in Houston. Thinks he sees improvement in his game as the result of that.
You gotta keep working him. Keep working him. Okay. Keep working him, son. Keep working him. You gotta keep working.
Make him come get you. He can start stretching out, and that's when you go see your opening. He gotta make the mistakes. He's not used to boxing. You a much better boxer than him. Start boxing. Use your legs and box.
He sees Jennings after that jab tell Klitschko, you can't hurt me, come on. And then he tried a good jab to the body, but Klitschko parried it with his left hand.
Copy box numbers in round 5. Klitschko 13 out of 49. Jennings 12 out of 36. 41 of Klitschko's 62 connected punches so far in the fight are jabs. But that means 21 of them were power punches. He's had a couple of good right hands, but really hasn't been able to land an A-plus power shot so far.
This is always the danger with this kind of strategy to break Klitschko at this point in the fight. It succeeded in the few fights that Klitschko's lost earlier in his career.
There was another good body shot, though, Max, and nobody has done this to Klitschko in quite some time.
In a long time, but the danger, of course, is you open yourself up more, and Klitschko is a finishing kind of puncher. So you have to get through that danger zone in order to implement that strategy. Jennings looks like he's willing to do it.
Well, that was a good jab by Klitschko, and Jennings told him, good jab.
Yep. Jennings was getting ready to make a move inside, and Klitschko stopped him in his tracks with the jab, which Jennings acknowledged.
Just in case you thought it was a lot of Ukrainian Americans in the crowd, Jim, that USA chant goes up. Some people are here for Jennings.
And I'm telling you, Jennings is the type of hustler that you don't want to let stick around for the late round.
Fred Jenkins, Jennings' trainer, has been very vocal in his corner, I should say. Let's take a listen for a moment to Fred Jenkins and the instructions he's sending to his fighter.
Break! Right back! Right back! Box. Keep fighting, B. Keep fighting. That jab! Keep the jab going! Get close to it, B. Get close to it. Don't stand there! There you go! Break!
Guys, Michael Griffin, the referee, told Klitschko
not to hold.
If you keep holding, I'm going to take a point. That counts as the first warning. You hear 2 of those from a ref. The third time, usually he will take a point.
And I do think Klitschko is making a concerted effort to avoid holding in the normal rhythm for him. which has given him something extra to think about and maybe inhibiting some of the punching.
And so that's smart from Jennings' camp because he stopped holding right when he started getting those warnings.
Break! No
Meanwhile,
more.
Jonathan Banks continues to tell Vladimir, you're a better boxer, box with him. But Jennings isn't making it all that easy. He's got this sort of funky, herky-jerky style. He's stepping in and stepping out, moving side to side sometimes, using his athletic abilities to frustrate and confuse Klitschko.
So reminiscent of Leon Spinks
Get off his mind.
in the first Ali fight particularly.
Leon Spinks had a great deal more experience than Bryant Jennings. Once again, it's amazing that Jennings can do what he's doing after only 6 years of boxing.
No punches. Come on, fine.
Vladimir's been boxing for 27 years.
Well, all I need you to do is box him. That's it. Step to the left, step to the right. You're allowed to move. Just box the man. That's all you got to do. Right. He cannot box better than you. When he come inside, go ahead and shut him down. Don't let him get no points on the inside. Shut him down like you're doing, and keep the jab pumping. That's all you got to do. You come in, check hook, step around, right back to your jab.
You see him jump in with a lead hook followed by an overhand right that finally got to Klitschko's chin, Jennings that is. It didn't hurt him, but it did get to his chin.
Oh, you gotta make him work a little more. Make him work.
Bryant Jennings trying to break Vladimir Klitschko down brick by brick, step by step, and making some progress, but maybe not winning rounds. Let's see how Harold Letterman has it halfway through.
Okay, Jim, I got a 59-55, 5 rounds to 1, Vladimir Klitschko. You know, Jim, up until the 6th round, I thought Vladimir was winning every round that left jab. But I got to tell you, in round 6, I thought Bryant Jennings got inside, did enough damage, and won the 6th round. Now, if he keeps up that aggressiveness and gets under Vladimir's left jab, maybe he can do some more damage and win a couple of more rounds and make this fight close. One thing I've observed, Jim, Vladimir's not throwing his right hand. I don't care what anybody says. He throws a right hand here and there. I've been looking for that big right hand the whole fight. He's throwing left jabs. He's winning a fight with the left jab, and he's sticking to it. I don't know if he hurt his right hand or what, but look, he throws all left jabs. 5-1, Klitschko.
Jennings landed his best shot of the night, a left hook on Klitschko's chin.
Jennings started gradually turning the tide. Not enough to win rounds until maybe that last round, but that's got to be discouraging for Klitschko. But this guy who's in front of him, talking to him, upsetting his rhythm. By the midway point in the fight, wins a round, has done some good work in the last 30 seconds. Spirited effort by the challenger.
And he just landed a really good right uppercut on the inside.
Which Vladimir felt compelled to answer with an uppercut of his own.
Yes, he did.
So just as he answered the body shot with a body shot a couple of rounds ago, he answered the uppercut with an uppercut as if to say, okay, you got me. I need to even it back up. Bryant Jennings is creating some new fans in the crowd here as more and more American fans seem to be warming to the possibility that Jennings can get something done.
Well, he's a competitor, and that's what people are picking up on and rallying behind in the crowd.
And he's learning on the job, Max. He's really learning how to deal with a real good professional prize fighter on the job. Kind of like old school Freddie Pendleton.
The patron saint of fighters with bad records, but Jennings got an undefeated one.
But he still learned it on the job.
Say good fighters with bad records if we're talking about bad Freddie Pendleton. Fast Freddie.
Good try by Klitschko.
Jennings frustrating Vladimir with his feet this round. You don't land punches that way. Harold Letterman is right in the sense that something has taken Vladimir Klitschko's right hand away for the past few rounds. Klitschko very cautious as he sizes up Jennings. You know, but prods him with the jab, but doesn't throw the right hand.
And he doesn't throw left hooks either, though. It's not like Klitschko is really throwing left hooks, though. It's basically just the jab.
Very reluctant to let his hands go in that round. Cinco de Mayo is a big day both on the Mexican calendar and here at HBO. First, tune in for the premiere of 24/7 Canelo Alvarez, James Kirkland. As both men prepare for their matchup, then it's the fight game. Join me along with Max Kellerman and Michelle Beadle as we look toward Canelo Kirkland and back at Mayweather Pacquiao. And then May 9, live on HBO, it's a fascinating matchup. Canelo Alvarez versus James Kirkland, live from Houston, Texas. Terrence Crawford at the fight. Last night, he was here in New York at the United States Boxing Writers Association dinner, accepting his award as the 2014 Boxing Writers Fighter of the Year. Coming off, of course, of his big knockout win over Tomas Delorme last week in Arlington, Texas. You guys covered it. He was tremendous.
Yes, he was.
Measure twice, cut once. I mean, he took the measure of Delorme and then just executed his game plan.
CompuBox numbers through round 7. Klitschko, 55 of 222 jabs, only 26 out of 80 power shots. Jennings only 11 out of 57 jabs, but besting Klitschko in the power area, 43 out of 150 thrown. We go to round 8 of his scheduled 12. A lot of people thought Jennings couldn't possibly be around at this point, but here he is.
And I think he just landed a really good left hook on Klitschko too.
Every now and then, he's done that from the beginning of this fight. Every now and then, Jennings gets in a big shot that lets Klitschko know I'm here and I'm competitive, and maybe puts a little doubt in his mind.
Another left hook lands for Jennings.
Yes, it was. I think they traded left hook that time.
And they're fighting now as though Klitschko is the one who believes he has something to lose and is concerned about it. And Jennings is almost reckless at this moment, thinking I've got nothing to lose.
So he just took that left hook 2 times really well.
Here's the right hand for Klitschko.
Whatever the outcome here, some other heavyweights might be getting grave watching this fight so far, including Deontay Wilder, who's here ringside watching this.
Or another American, Joseph Martin, who's 21-0-1 now.
Or Tyson Fury, or several other heavyweights who have their eyes on Klitschko, on the heavyweight champ.
Push him. And Tyson Fury has a little cousin that's a pretty good fighter himself as a heavyweight.
The point is, Klitschko looks more vulnerable here than he has in a long time.
Exactly right. And maybe because he's fighting a better opponent than he's fought in a long time.
Definitely a better athlete.
Yeah, that's really the key. It's an athletic performance by Jennings, and Klitschko hasn't been in with a lot of great athletes.
Oh, and there's a certain level of determination here, too. Determination doesn't just mean coming forward and throwing punches. It means sometimes having the discipline to know when to play defense and stick to that, not just give in to this sense that there's impending doom.
Body shots for Jennings. Klitschko looking a little bit more aggressive, looking determined to try to land something big. Almost as though Vladimir now feels embarrassed by what's happening and wants to do something definitive to reverse the momentum.
Michael Griffin, the referee, not letting Klitschko get away with much, even that little push he sometimes has after he lands that jab. No pushing, he told him right away.
And all the while that we're trumpeting the marvelous performance as we see it by Bryant Jennings, we keep in mind that our unofficial scorer, Harold Letterman, up to this point, has only given Jennings 1 round.
That was boxing, man. That's a much better round than you did all this round. Much better round. You opening them up. That's what I'm saying. That's why I told you, just take your time and box this kid. He don't know what he's doing. Every time you hit him with a big shot, because you open them up. Keep boxing him. That's the way you do best, with your legs and boxing. That's all you got to do. It's effort. It takes no energy. Move.
Right here, straight back. He's right there, son. While he's trying to hit you, that's when you got to hit him. While he's trying to hit you, son.
He see Jennings jump and land the left hook, but he relaxed as he landed it, and he got caught with the same left hook, and I think actually Klitschko's hook had more on it than the Jennings hook because it turned Jennings all the way around.
CompuBox averages per round through 8. Klitschko 11 out of 43. Jennings 8 out of 30. And you wonder if Jennings needs to throw more than 30 punches per round to really be in the fight as we go down the stretch. And Harold Letterman gives that round to Vladimir Klitschko as well. So he's safe on the scorecard by and large as we get to the late rounds, at least on Harold Letterman's unofficial scorecard.
And now comes the next level of a performance. You're right, Jennings has been very impressive in many respects, and yet he's lost probably almost every round. At a certain point, being impressive isn't enough. Is Jennings then willing to
sell
do what
out?
he thinks it takes to actually get the win?
And that means trying to knock Klitschko out, because as a professional, he has never lost a fight on a scorecard.
And of course, if Jennings decides to open up and try to knock Klitschko out, he'll give Klitschko a better chance of knocking him out.
Of course, but he knew that coming into the fight.
Let go his head. Right, right. Over there. Over there. Over there. Over there. That's the last warning. Now you hold this guy again, I'm taking a point from you. Let's go. Box, time in, box.
So Michael Griffin tells Vladimir Klitschko, that's the last warning. You hold him again, and I'm going to deduct a point.
That's precisely how a ref should behave. You call timeout before you tell him that. You put it in his mind, this is a real thing. If you do, and you've already warned him, if you do it again, it will cost you a point.
And Brandon Jennings just went for the gusto right there. He barely missed him, but he did throw a right hand, an overhand right, that if it had landed, we may have had some problems.
And the crowd went ooh and ah, recognizing exactly what you saw. And there's a hard right hand for Jennings. Caught Klitschko on the chin.
And it was a hard jab behind it, and you see him throwing the body shots right now.
Vladimir
he's
very
cut.
concertedly holding his hands apart and trying to show Griffin, I'm not holding it.
And Vladimir is bleeding under his left eye.
Jennings reaches with the right hand again.
Get off him, get off him, break! Step back.
From that right hand.
Boy, the Jennings camp is 100% correct. When Klitschko is not allowed to use that hold.
Hard right hand by Klitschko hurt Jennings.
I don't know that it hurt him, but it was a really good shot.
Yeah, I may be overestimating the degree to which it hurt him, but it was a good shot.
Hold on,
Another good body shot by Jennings.
Without the clinching, Klitschko is just in greater jeopardy than we've seen in a long time. And you see the even look on his face. I wouldn't say panic, but concern.
Of course he's concerned. Another good body shot by Jennings.
See Klitschko's right side red from those left hooks.
Jennings taking advantage of the free hands created by Michael Griffin's very disciplined enforcement of a no-holding rule against Vladimir Klitschko. Hayden Panettiere looks nervous.
You gotta get your distance. When you come close and back up, you gotta get. That's why I got you moving. Every time he makes mistakes, it's because you're moving. You start moving and just boxing, moving, boxing. That left hand, you're not about to get the 1-2. You gotta get a jab hook, then shoot jab hook right hand. You're not gonna get the 1-2. He's paying attention to every right hand you throw.
He sees Jennings try very hard to land this overhand right. He missed it. Klitschko did the right thing and just stepped towards it and turned that shoulder like you saw him doing in the locker room before the fight started. That was great defense, but here you see Klitschko land the best right hand of the night, I think, right on the chin, and Jennings' legs did not buckle at all. As a matter of fact, Jennings stopped and looked at him before he jabbed.
Well, that's a tough beard.
He has a good chin, no question about it. Klitschko was 9 of 49 in that round. Jennings outlanded him 16 out of 36. His high number of landed punches in the fight. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Hey, Jim, in round 9, Brian Jennings got inside and landed some shots. I mean, I gave Brian Jennings the 9th round. I wish he'd keep it up. Rush Klitschko and whack him. But I got to tell you, Jim, you guys are praising Michael Griffin. I would have started round 1 and taken points away from Vladimir. Vladimir grabs it. There he goes again. He's grabbing and grabbing and grabbing and grabbing and grabbing. I mean, when Fred Jenkins counts up the number of times that Vladimir held Brian Jennings after this fight is over, he's going to find that Vladimir held him an awful lot. He's doing it again right there. You can't let him get away with that.
Harold, I don't regard that as holding.
Here goes
He's got his glove up there,
right here.
and now he's going to take the point. All right.
He's going to take a point for holding, so I'm overruled.
He heard you, Harold.
And
Of course! It's about time!
No more. Box.
I think when the holding started to get towards the egregious side, Griffin started getting stern with Klitschko, and there he took a point.
And Jennings just landed another uppercut on the inside.
Klitschko started, Jim, to hold, and then, once the clinch was effective, release his arms when Jennings wasn't in a position to punch him to see, I'm not holding, but he was. He began the clinch.
7 years ago, Vladimir Klitschko came here for a much heralded heavyweight title defense against Russian Sultan Ibragimov. The crowd was big. A lot of movers and shakers from New York came to see the heavyweight champion. Ibragimov ran and hid all night long. Klitschko wasn't able to knock him out. People were disappointed. He got bad reviews, and he didn't come back to the United States for a long, long time. If he doesn't knock Jennings out tonight, it might be a repeat of exactly the same experience.
Meantime, this referee's disciplining of Klitschko. Vladimir moments ago went to start a clinch and then stopped, realizing he could get another point deducted. And as a result, we've had better action over the last 30 seconds.
Good shot by Vladimir.
Let him go. Break, break, break.
Good body shots
by Jennings. An excellent fusillade of body shots. Klitschko continues to look upstairs. Jennings landing more punches than Klitschko in this round, as was the case in the last.
Jennings believes that Klitschko's body has to work harder in a tough fight because he is so big, and that he can take advantage of that in the late rounds.
Get off him.
You got to punch more, Max, to take advantage of it. He isn't throwing big headshots now like he should be to make Klitschko weary and make Klitschko worry.
Left hook by Klitschko. He hasn't thrown many of those.
There you go. That's what he has to do.
Jennings with his hands free, working the body.
Those are the flurries. I got to get a couple more of them. Those are the flurries. Those is the flurries. Deep breath. You're not even breathing. Test him, man. Test him again, man. Test him again. BY, you got to look straight up the middle with them shots. Straight up the middle. Straight up the middle, okay? Straight up the middle. Straight up the middle. He's open for the straight shots now. Fake him and straight up the middle.
He see Klitschko land a good uppercut on the inside, followed by a right, left, right, and he doesn't clinch another left, and he does not clinch after that because he'd already lost a point.
And there's the reaction from Mrs. Klitschko at ringside. Increasingly emotionally involved, or so it seems, in the fight. CompuBox numbers in the 10th round. Again, Jennings outlanded Klitschko 16 of 38 to 11 of 47.
I'm not suggesting that there's any immediate danger of this, but after the first point comes the second point. After the second point comes the DQ. There's not too many, there's only 2 rounds left. But I think Klitschko already has that in mind, that he better fight and not hold.
Harold Letterman saw Klitschko winning the round. That's why it was 9-9 on his scorecard.
It also speaks to Klitschko's dominance that if a determined undefeated contender can win a couple rounds from him in the first 10, we consider it something of an upset already. That's a testament to how dominant Klitschko's been over the last decade.
I'm going, Vlad. Break, break. And hold.
So what you're saying is that Jennings is covering the point spread.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, push her.
Especially the psychological point spread.
I tell you what, with this effort that he's giving, I wouldn't be surprised if people would like to see this again, because if he can do this off of 6 years of boxing, imagine what he's going to be able to do after experiencing this.
We don't know about this again, but certainly people will take more of an interest in the career of Brian Jennings.
It would be interesting to see if Vladimir would entertain the notion of a rematch.
I'd like to see the rematch because Jennings, with such little experience, is learning so much here that I think he deserves another shot at it.
Eventually.
And if the scores are 117, 110, for instance, you would still want to see a rematch?
Yes, I would. Because once he goes home and looks at the tapes, something that he's never had the opportunity to really do behind the loss, because he's only been boxing 6 years, he'll realize the things that he should have did, the things he should have increased on to maybe get himself a victory.
I agree on every point.
There's 4 minutes left in the fight, so it's not over yet. Maybe a rematch eventually is my opinion. I don't know about immediate. Let's see what happens in the rest of this fight.
Two good right hands by Klitschko. Didn't seem to bother Jennings.
No, his chin is held up amazingly well. Klitschko took the chance of wrapping his left arm around Jennings' head there. Griffin could have thought about taking another point, it seems, but didn't.
And we got to give Klitschko some credit, too. He has to be in pretty good shape to be able to withstand this, because he's not been able to hold, which has caused him to have to be more active, throw more punches, and be set to fight much more than he's used to doing in a 12-round bout.
He's having a pretty good 11th round. He's outlanded Jennings in the round, and he landed a couple of solid right hands.
See how determined Jennings is to win this thing in the 12th.
That right leg back for when he push you. Every time he hits you, he open. You cover up, he's right there, son. Remember, I tell you, you got to punch right off of that cover. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Good down. Good. Right there. How you feel?
Did you run 11 as well?
How you feel?
12. She put up 12. She put up 12.
All right, she put up 12.
You got more experience in the 12th round than he got in his whole life, man. Just move and box this kid. Same thing he's trying to do what Samuel Peters did. Move and box his last round. Stay your rhythm. You don't got to stand in front of him. Keep your rhythm. Move and box. Your defense is way better.
Bruce Willis in the crowd, as Bryant Jennings may be in a die-hard situation. Can he go the whole 9 yards? We're about to find out. Box, fellas. 12th round. Since the loss to Lehman Brewster in 2004, Vladimir Klitschko's won 21 consecutive fights, 15 of them by knockout. So he's been in the 12th round before, including in the fight with Ibragimov here in Madison Square Garden. Klitschko seems annoyed by Jennings at this point.
Jennings has come out in this 12th final round to try to win, at least early in the round.
Showing energy.
This is when he has to be most careful.
Well, we could already see if he wants to play it safe, Jennings, he can go the distance with Klitschko.
Yeah, he doesn't have to try to play it safe, but he has to be careful. Jennings has to be careful not to get caught with a big punch while he's trying to land one.
And while we're talking about all the marvelous things we think Bryant Jennings has been able to do in probably losing the fight, Vladimir Klitschko has a lot of energy and a lot of bounce in his foot at this moment for a 240-pound fighter in the 12th round at age 39.
Yes, he does, Jim.
Isn't that amazing? Almost 40 years old. Well, that was a tough four-punch combination Jennings just took in the 12th round in the middle of the ring at Madison Square Garden with the heavyweight championship on the line, and he's still coming forward.
And I think that last jab was the hardest, most telling punch of that combination.
More than halfway through the 12th. Another big right hand by Klitschko.
If that didn't get him out of nothing will. That was a good shot right there. That may have hurt. That may have hurt Jennings.
Blood coming from Jennings' mouth now. After the big right hand by Klitschko.
That was a devastating punch.
Klitschko is used to guys falling down when they taste that right hand.
Absolutely right.
Your hands are free. Break.
Not many fighters in the last 11 years have taken that shot and stood up, but Jennings did.
That may have taken the fight out of him, Jim.
Yeah.
He's moving like that punch may have hurt him worse than it showed or it
Left hook
appeared.
lands for Klitschko as well. Now the left hook and another right. Finally, Jennings breaks out of his shell and tries again. Klitschko is keeping him at bay with hard shots. Down the stretch in the 12th round. Another right hand. Wobbled Jennings.
Klitschko's closing the show like a champion.
Yes, he is.
He has dominated the 12th round. Seconds to go. Klitschko wants one more shot. And they make it to the bell. A lot of respect right there.
That was not a guy going the distance with Klitschko because he was stinking it out. That was a guy going the distance based on his moxie and his talent.
And his chin.
And his chin.
And as much praise as we've heaped on Bryant Jennings, most likely that was the 18th consecutive successful title defense of the heavyweight championship by Vladimir Klitschko. Most likely. CompuBox numbers in round 12, Klitschko was 15 out of 51, 5 of 27 for Jennings, and almost all of Jennings' 27 throws were in the first 2 minutes of the round before he ate that very big right hand from Klitschko that bloodied his mouth. And might have been the hardest shot that Vladimir threw all night.
Yeah, this is the type of right hand that usually sits buildings down, not people. Watch him right behind that jab. He jabs, steps forward, and bing, right down the middle with a straight right hand. That punch usually knocks guys out. Jennings showed a remarkable chin in taking that punch, and this is in the 12th round.
And I mentioned the score might be 117 to 110. There's your basic 117 to 110. Harold, we see your score. Who are the official judges?
Except you knew it 4 rounds ago. It's amazing. Max DeLuca from California had Chris Algieri decision over Ruslan Provatnikov. Well, he scored it for Ruslan Provatnikov over Algieri, which I thought was the right score, even though Algieri won. Robin Taylor, good judge from New York. She had Guillermo Rigondeaux, 120, 108 over Joseph Agbeko. That was absolutely correct. Steve Weisfeld, we all know from Boxing After Dark. He had Manny Pacquiao, had 47-46 when Juan Manuel Marquez knocked him out. I thought Steve had the right score there.
Well, I think the Ukrainians in the crowd, and there are a lot of them, came to watch Vladimir Klitschko knock Bryant Jennings out. The Americans in the crowd, who were rooting for Jennings, were hoping for a competitive performance, maybe even a win, and they got something like that. That's Jennings' son, seated there with his grandmother. There's Hayden Panettiere, nervously awaiting the decision and blowing kisses to her public, which is large. Vladimir now lives much of the time in Nashville, Tennessee, because of Hayden's association with the television series that films there.
Wow.
And now Michael Buffer has the decision in hand, so let's go to him to learn who has won.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the Mecca of Sports and Entertainment, Madison Square Garden, New York City, we go to the scorecards. Robin Taylor and Steve Weisfeld both have it 116 to 111. Max DeLuca scores at 118, 109. All 3 scorecards to the winner by unanimous decision. And still, the unified heavyweight champion of the world, Dr. Steel Hammer, Vladimir Klitschko.
Final CompuBox numbers. Vladimir Klitschko landing 34 more punches and throwing considerably more, 169 more punches than did Bryant Jennings. Jennings landing at the slightly higher connect percentage, 29%. Partially that reflects the fact that he was mostly targeting Klitschko's large body, while Klitschko was mostly targeting Jennings' moving head. Power shots, Klitschko landing 52. Only one of them, to my memory, was a body shot. The rest of them all upstairs. Jennings landing 94. The vast majority of them were body shots. And Jennings throwing more power punches because he was pounding away to the body so frequently, particularly close on the inside. Here is
the punch zone graphic that shows you where the punches landed, and there's the disparity we were discussing. Klitschko landing a total of 6 counted body punches during the fight, whereas Bryant Jennings landed 83 of those. Klitschko landing 138 punches upstairs on Jennings, and Jennings landing 26 times upstairs on Vladimir Klitschko. So once again, Vladimir Klitschko comes to Madison Square Garden and holds on to his title in a performance which is likely to garner mixed reviews. Let's go to Max Kellerman in the ring.
Congratulations, champ, on a tough win. He seemed to give you more problems in this fight, though you won by a wide margin, than we're used to seeing you get in the ring. How was he able to do that, do you think?
Very competitive opponent that I faced in the recent years, absolutely. Great hand speed, great footwork, very athletic, great desire to win the fight and be champion. He has been even talking between the rounds and trying to making Ali Fraser the opposite way while Ali was talking. So you gave me a great challenge. Congratulations. I think you're gonna give in the heavy division a lot of good challenges to the next fights as well. So good job. Thank you.
You didn't seem to be throwing your right hand as much as we anticipated. You used the jab a lot, not a lot of hooks, and really not a lot of right hands. Is your right hand okay?
My right hand is okay. Brian didn't give me a chance to throw the right hand as much as I wanted. It has to do probably with also Philly style, same like Eddie Chambers, where a lot of body movement to keep me off balance and get me closer distance.
His camp made a big deal before the fight about you clinching, and the referee wound up taking a point eventually. How did that affect your fight?
It is what it is. I don't want any complaints. Sometimes when fighter is shorter than you, things like that happens, and then the judgment must be by the referee, and that's how he did too.
We were talking ringside about whether next or in the future at some point, considering his limited experience and the performance he put on, whether you'd be interested in doing that again, would you?
Do again what?
With Bryant Jennings.
Well, I didn't see challenge where I'm gonna say that was so tight that we need to fight again. And as a champion, you have a lot of obligations. I think that's the only free title defense it was. And now I have to do all the mandatory defenses.
You just came off a fight on American TV on HBO where you scored a spectacular knockout. Now you're coming off a tough-fought win in Madison Square Garden, in a almost sold-out Madison Square Garden. How do you feel about fighting in this country again and connecting with the American fans?
I feel great to be back after 7 years break. I love to fight here. Fans all over the world love to come also to the States and, for example, in New York, and see the fight at the Garden. Absolutely great experience. I want to say thank you very much to every spectacular that came here for Jennings and also for Klitschko. I hope you enjoyed the 12th-round fight.
Thanks, champ.
Thank you.
Leodo.
Bryant Jennings, hard to imagine that 6 years after you pick up the sport, you go in with a dominant heavyweight champion of the world and not only go 12 rounds, but win some rounds and make it interesting. How did you do it?
Well, it's that confidence that they all question me about. You know, I'm a man and he's a man, and when we get in between these four squares, that's what we're here to do. This is the sport, and we come to fight, and we come to put it all on the line, and we accept any outcome, win, lose, or draw.
Nevertheless, as incredible as it is that you've come so far so fast, he did win the majority of the rounds and won by a fairly comfortable decision there, even with the point deduction. What did you learn from this experience?
Well, if you actually look at it, I think I was getting off just as much when he was holding, 4 or 5 shots to the body. I know I let off maybe about 100 right hooks to the body. Wasn't a lot of face shots. You know, I wasn't really focused on the face because, you know, his prevent is, you know, is pretty effective. But I was landing shots and I was taking whatever he threw. Did he hurt me? Maybe. But I went in there and I did what I was supposed to do, and I think that the scorecards was way off. I think it was maybe a bit closer to the fight. Probably could have went either way. The way I felt as though I didn't get hurt. You know, I was throwing punches as well, so I felt as though it should have been a little closer. That wide margin I don't agree with that.
Thanks, Brian Jennings. Impressive performance. Jim?
All right, thanks very much. Well, Roy Jones, Vladimir didn't exactly leap at the prospect of a rematch with Jennings. Of course, he's quite correct in pointing out he holds 3 belts. He has mandatory opponents to try to fight to hold on to those belts. Maybe it could happen down the road. I saw some mutual respect in the ring. What did you think?
I saw a lot of mutual respect, a lot of earned respect from Brian Jennings. He earned the respect of Vladimir Klitschko tonight. At the same time, you have to understand where he's coming from, but that's where lack of experience does speak. They don't give you as many points or as much for scoring body shots as they do for head shots. When a guy hits you 100 times to 3 and you hit him 100 times to 3, but yours is to the body and his is to the head, then they're going to get much more credit for that head work than you are for the body work. And he also said himself, his prevent, which meant his head defense, was very good, which is why he didn't throw so much or land as many to the head. So right there, he should see and understand why the decision was so lopsided.
Great work. Keep your bags packed. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, brother.
All right, let's turn now to the 160-pound world champion who was seated at ringside behind us tonight, Kazakhstan's Gennady Gennadievich Golovkin, Triple G. First of all, what did you think of the heavyweight fight? Both performances by Jennings and Klitschko.
His performance is very good, like big present for Ukrainian people. Little bit different situation, heavyweight division and middleweight division. I like drama show, I like big drama show. This time, he looks good, Jennings looks good today, it's very interesting, And maybe for Vladimir, new style, because it is long time he not boxing in the United States. This
Jennings took some big right hands. I think he showed a great chin in there. Meanwhile, everybody has to have a great chin against you because you have 19 knockouts in a row. Coming up May 16 in the Forum in Los Angeles, you're fighting Willie Monroe. Can we agree that in your American tour of duty, at least, since you came here and started with the fight against Gregor Proxa and have knocked out everybody since, is this the first really slick counterpuncher boxer type that you'll be fighting?
Exactly, absolutely. This is first step for me because I have southpaw. Everybody has problem with southpaw. This is my motivation, and I think it's a big fight for us, I promise big show, like drama show.
All right, big drama show is what he promises. We look forward to that. Thank you very much, and certainly am impressed that you came all the way to New York for the Boxing Writers Dinner and for this in the middle of training for Monroe, and we'll see you out there in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
All right, Triple G continues the big drama show, and we'll be there on May 16 at the Forum in Los Angeles, just as we were here tonight, just as we'll be in Las Vegas next week. And so let's look ahead to all of the bonanza of boxing programming coming up on HBO. Even as we leave you tonight, we're looking forward to a full slate of boxing programming in the weeks ahead, including 24/7 Canelo Kirkland, The Fight Game, the live Canelo Kirkland bout, Triple G Gennady Golovkin, and the return of Miguel Cotto. Of course, there's also our coverage of next week's Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. May 1, we'll bring you the weigh-in live right here on HBO. And the next night, an hour before the pay-per-view begins, we'll have Countdown Live with features and interviews. Then it's finally here. Floyd Mayweather against Manny Pacquiao, live on pay-per-view. You can't miss it. Coming up next, it's the premiere of The Legends Speak, a unique look at the fight through the eyes of boxing greats and all 5 men who fought both Mayweather and Pacquiao. And so for everyone here in New York, I'm Jim Lampley saying so long and see you next week from Las Vegas for the fight for which we've all been waiting.